All right. I'm just sipping on lemonade. So I'm gonna try to behave tonight. Whatever. Okay, ladies, let's get to some topics. Jonathan Majors was arrested over the weekend for assault after a woman claimed that Majors struck her across the face with an open hand, which caused substantial pain and a laceration behind her ear. She also alleged Majors grabbed her hand and put his hands on her neck, causing swelling, bruising, and substantial pain to her neck and hand. Now, Majors' attorney denied the allegations and says the evidence would prove the actor is innocent. Let's go to you first, Selena. What are your thoughts on these allegations? And is it because he blew up so fast, or is there something to this? What do you think?
Well, Claudia, actually, guys, I don't know on this one. I'm kind of torn in between the middle because his lawyers did say he didn't do it. They denied it vehemently, and they were like, the video is going to show that he's innocent and all of that stuff. He doesn't really have a history of this kind of violence, which is also kind of like, giving me a little bit of pause. And also, too, you have to remember in the state of New York, correct, Claudia? They were in New York?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the state of New York, whenever there is a domestic violence, and this is in most states, whenever there's a domestic violence discrepancy and the police are called, somebody has to get taken to jail. It's the law. Wow. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there was an assault. It just means that someone has to be taken to jail. So when you have those kinds of things, as part of the play, I can't really sit here and be like, he's terrible. Now, if he did do it, he ought to be ashamed of his damn self. And why these men can't get it together when they blow up and then they act a fool, that's how I feel about it if he did do it. Okay. But I do have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is saying that he did not do it. And he said that there's footage that's going to prove it. So,
and I concur with Selena because I just hope that this is not what's going to be attached to his name when he's on such a great journey. You know what I mean? And it always seems to happen that way. When you blow up, then something or somebody want to tear you down with something. And I just don't think that's fair. So I am looking forward to him presenting the evidence, and presumably he's innocent. I will say this, just because it is something of violence and there's a man and a woman, don't necessarily mean that the man started it, and doesn't necessarily mean that the woman started it. You know what I mean? So something happened. We know that something happened for him to go to jail and for her to holler whatever. You know what I mean? But she could have just been looking for a check too. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say that it's him or her. I'm just going to wait.
There's a lot of confusion around the story, Vivek. I want to ask you because there were reports that came out saying that she recanted her story and that she took it all back and everything's been dropped. But then people in the chat are saying that that's just something that the lawyer put out. So we really don't know where it's at. It's like kind of all over the place. Viv, do you have any insight on this, or what do you think about this?
I don't have any insights as far as knowing the super scoop. Too much is given, much is expected. The fact that he had this humongous army campaign that, it was just mega, that it was immediately pulled. Fellas, ladies, when y'all start getting these big old contracts, please watch the company that you keep. It's as simple as that. It's called making good choices. Everyone that's around you ain't always for you. The higher you go, the thinner the air. Watch the company that you keep. Sometimes people are around you because they want to be you. They want your coin. They want to figure out any way to get exposure. People are clout chasers. So watch the company that you keep. Make good choices. Keep your circle small. And I just hate to see this happen to Jonathan. I just met him at the premiere of Creed. He was a gentleman, so talented, so quiet. He doesn't have a social media account. He's really one of those actors that is to himself. His Ebony spread that he did, simply stunning, beautiful. This has been your year. Don't let them take this away from you.
Well said. And brothers, I'm talking to you, my brothers. When you already know where I want to go with this. Listen,
I'm glad.
Isn't that hard to just?
I'm glad you said it.
Come on, man. You know you can't get away with it with them. they're already looking. They looking. And I
When you
hate to
say
make a
them,
general.
what you mean, them as women or them as white folks? What you talking about?
Well,
Well,
it's been a couple white women that are saying this. Not to say you can't interracially date, because I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that. I'm just saying you gotta watch yourself, because they're gonna believe your accuser before they believe you. We've seen this happen since when? 400 years?
1600. Okay.
So like, I'm not saying love who you love, like who you like, hang out with who you want to hang out with, but you gotta button it up when you're at this level. Like Vivica said, you have to button it up, and you gotta like be a little bit. You gotta tighten up.
Well, Claudia, it could actually be like what one of our next stories is going to be, that, you know, this young lady, you know, saw him in the movie and saw he all bodied up and wanted to feel that hand on her throat, on her neck, you know what I'm saying? And just, it could have just been some type of, you know, fantasy type of something, you know, they both blanked out, you know what I mean? It was like, ooh, it could be. Let's just stay tuned.
Lisa Ray, stop speaking from personal experience.
I know. Yes, she had a little flashback just now.
She was like, and it just turned.
It turned everything into a freaky story, child. This one here.
Ooh, okay, well, brothers, just be careful, because it's getting worse again. We're going through the same cycle again. All right.